Yeah, g'day out there in YouTube land. How you going? It's the uNrekt Pyrate and the HEX Late Show team. We're back for another week for another exciting episode of the HEX Late Show. Welcome to the Message of the Bottle, where we talk about the greatest HEX crypto, of course. And welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful time wherever you are in the world today. And we've seen a magnificent green candle day on the HEX chart. So we're going to bring all the boys up. We're going to have a chat about it. We've got no set agenda at the moment. Day 43. How you going, mate? We're just talking about
what's
HEX.
happening, mate. What is happening?
Oh,
I like that. I like that. What is that? A panther? Is that a Black Panther?
Yeah, just another one of those Matt B sculptures with the panther.
Looks awesome.
Look at that. That's beautiful, isn't it?
That is awesome.
What do you reckon? So yeah, there's a lot going on. I've got a treasure map behind me. I've got a treasure map behind me here for the golden quadrant.
These green candles.
Oh, it's been good. You know, just patience and
mate, we
paid off. You know,
was it?
It was inevitable.
2 weeks ago, we were 13 cents.
Market
and now we're like 30. We were like 31 cents. I don't know what we are right now. So 2 weeks ago, with 13 cents. Like, and people have been selling. Man. People have been selling. And it's just gone. See ya.
Yeah. I know. And I don't want to look at it because it brings tears to my eyes. But anyway, no, it's good. It's all good. It's all good in the hood.
There you
go.
Hey everyone.
How you going, boys?
Hey, uNrekt. That guitar looks awesome in the background, man.
Yeah, it's got a treasure map there for the the golden portfolio, the HEX, the PHEX, the PulseChain, and the PulseX. What do you reckon?
I tell you what,
there's so much islands. There's a Skull Island. There's a pirate ship and a big giant squid on there. Lights up, flashes up. Got it. And that's hand built. That's a hand built.
I reckon you could spend days just wandering around uNrekt's home, just looking at all the.
It's a museum, mate.
It's like a warehouse. I have been a bowerbird in the past, but no, hunters and collectors, yes. But I'm a minimalist now because that stuff can just weigh you down too much if you've got too much sort of interesting subjects that you like to collect. You've got to have a place to put it, don't you? So anyway, I saw that. It was a sort of a unique piece. I picked it up in Toowoomba, and it's great. Yeah. Anyway,
so guys, do we think that this pump is as of a direct result of people FOMOing in before the PulseX sacrifice? Mm-hmm. Do you think people are buying? Do you think people are buying HEX so that they can sacrifice the HEX?
No, I don't think so.
I think there's a that will come. I don't reckon that's hit yet. So my take on this is the chart was looking beautiful anyway. We done that double bottom. We got to an area where it was just broke that trend line, and then literally we had some big buys come in. We had someone try and dump. They were dumping, I think, 7 or 8 mil in a hit, and it was just getting eaten up. I've seen a lot of on Whalebot. I've seen a lot of big buys come in, like 500-600K buys all the time.
That's exactly
he nailed it, didn't he? That was awesome.
Yeah.
I actually don't recommend
Hexy bastard. How you going, buddy? Whenever you want to come on, mate. If you're around, you're welcome to come on.
Yeah, geez, it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning over there or something, I think, wouldn't it?
Like, it really felt like there was this 3 months of the sellers getting exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, they sold until there's no one left who wanted to sell. And so now it's going up. Yep. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, and I think that was a pretty long drawn out. Well, in HEX terms, it was a pretty long drawn out and pretty
bear market.
that was our bear market. So that was
barely 90 days, not even.
I think most people thought that the bleeding was going to stop around the 20 cent, 19 cent mark, and then we just had 2 really shitty events happen, which I think we talked about last week. Was the poor fellow that got hacked, and then the exchange that got hacked, which just more downward pressure on the price at just an important time. So, yeah, I think I still think we will. There seems to be that element where everyone's firing up and doing the same strategy that worked on PulseChain sacrifice. I think there is a bit of that, but I don't think we've seen all of that yet. I think we'll see a bit more of that.
How high can HEX go? How high can HEX go?
Well, I reckon
as high as a giraffe pussy, man.
Yeah, I feel like it's a whole. I feel like. What'd you say?
Hello, how you going?
How are you, Sammy?
I said as high as giraffe pussy.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I haven't heard that one. That's a good one. But day 43.
You can use it, man. Go for it.
It's pretty high off the ground.
It's not mine. I heard it off something.
No. That's right. That's right.
What's going on, Sammy?
Sammy.
Not much. Just working, streaming, HEX. What's
living the
going
dream.
on with you guys? Yeah. What about this pump, hey?
Yeah.
Living the dream. I love it. Lovey.
The bad news is, I think we're all going to be way off the mark when it comes to the bitch titch oracle.
I'm pretty
Tangent. No, Tangent would be close.
Really?
I think he called
I think I'm pretty close.
or something.
I can't remember exactly what you said, but
I thought I said 28, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think I said 28.5.
Hang on. Can we? I know we don't usually we do it at the end of the show, but I'm not staying for the whole show, unfortunately. So, can we do bitch tits of the week right now?
No.
I just want to see who won. Not calling it, not picking for next week. I just want to see.
Hang on, what's this? Did you guys consult me before you decided to change the name to the Oracle?
No, because you were up shit creek without a paddle, mate. So I made an executive decision, and I've decided. I've decided to call
I've got two bitch tits. Did you?
Hang on, it's Sir Bitch Tits, mate. It's Sir Bitch Tits or Madam Bitch Tits.
Or Madam Bitch Tits. Yeah, it's Bitch Tits of the week now.
And
you don't know the story, uNrekt. You don't know the story. Let me explain what happened.
It was Trevor who won it 2 weeks in a row, and he couldn't pronounce his name properly, and
Trevor
just called him bitch. Oh, like your Wang Yi was.
Yeah. No,
I know how it came about.
So, but what happened was he felt like he was being singled out, being called bitch tits, and I just wanted to make it abundantly clear that we call everyone bitch tits, and we don't discriminate between different bitches and their tits. We just call
I don't like it. I don't like it. It's unprofessional.
Because we're just like
you've overstepped the line if it's
when uNrekt disapproves.
Hey, since we're on terminology,
uNrekt, I never put my foot down. I'm putting my foot down on this. It's called bitch tits. Fuck Oracle of the Week. What a bullshit fucking name that is. Oracle of the Week.
You thought of it, probably.
Bitch tits of the week, man. Bitch tits of the week.
I got my bitch tits on. Look at this. I got my little bitch tits for later. See that? Look at that. Oh, you can't see it. I got where you put a mate, a bit of bondage action down the line tonight.
Yep.
Why not?
You're full of surprises, uNrekt, but somehow that doesn't surprise.
Oh, this one's been it's a hard one to set up, I tell you. But anyway, while we're on terminology,
the moral guardian of the HEX Late Show.
This one. You know how all the hexicans out there, you've probably all heard of a guy named Wales Only. You know Wales Only, and then they've got Beards Only one. I've got a few more to add to that. I've got Plows Only one. I've got Lumberjacks Only one. Jats Crackers Only one. Bandits Only one. Signals Only one. Sexual Healing Only one.
What about Tangents Only
one? The list just goes. Tangents Only one. Yep. The big
Speaking of Tangents Only one, where is Tangents Only one?
Where is Tangent?
Yeah, I bet you he's sleeping.
Did he fall asleep?
I don't know. It's pretty early over here. If he's fallen asleep, it's and then a nap.
He did this way. He's done like 2 streams today, and on the last one he was looking pretty tired.
Yeah, I think he's probably snoring.
He had a big weekend.
Had a big weekend.
No doubt.
So who's bitch tits of the week? I should say. Who is it?
Oh, so you really want to do this, do you?
Yeah.
You really okay.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it at the beginning.
But it's still 2 hours.
We But you don't get to call them bitch tits if it's at the end. You know, it's at the end. At least if we find out who the bitch tits is at the start, we get to call them bitch tits for the whole.
Hang on, no, it's just because you want to go early. So you just want to.
He's just changing the rules. He's just changing the rules every week.
I'm changing the rules.
You're going to have to do detention for that.
Oh yeah.
Anyway. Oh yeah. He says, I'm running my own circus over here. No one tells me what to do.
Fucking hit the nail on the head, bro. No one tells you what to do either, uNrekt. You fucking didn't turn up for 2 weeks.
uNrekt Pyrate, are you
stuff
yet, man? Are you nearly paid yet? Are you nearly placed?
Yeah. And awesome. I think Christmas might come early tonight. But
price
just
apparently
sneaking
still going
suspicion. Up. I won't no expectation from the work of others, and no expectations basically at the moment. Fingers tightly crossed. We'll see what happens later.
Nice. Awesome.
And I will not reveal my secrets. But anyway, moving right along. What's going on in HEX? There's plenty to talk about. There's plenty of the developments in the testnet. We have that big, obviously the chart. That's the only thing that really matters is the number go up in crypto, all of crypto. But HEX really is, it's the best. It's the best crypto as far as I'm concerned. And I've gone through them all. You've got the store of value. You've got the monetize the time value of money, the trustless interest, of course, the program money, the immutable smart contract, the code, ownership of the private keys. That's a really important one. It's a finished product. All these other crypto projects and everything else are in development, and there's it's a huge, as all you guys know, it's a huge. It's layers of learning within the blockchain and what it actually is, what the technology, the innovation. But HEX is a true innovation, and it really is a game changer for the wider circle of crypto. And it's interesting that they sort of tried to shun HEX from the start, and it's just been doing its thing all the time, 100% uptime, triple audit security, and it's chomping their lunch, and that's why they trying to just block it out, but it's unstoppable.
We did see a page on the Coinbase website called "How to Buy HEX" this week, which was a big thing. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I did. Amazing.
So I think that it gave you instructions how you could buy HEX and put it into your Coinbase wallet, which is a non-custodial wallet, I believe. I don't have one myself, but they're not selling HEX, which you would think would be the next thing, on the agenda. If you've got a web page saying how to buy HEX, maybe they should just sell HEX.
Hexnoob.com. Hexnoob.com's got all of the links to the statistical analysis. So basically, it's got the best. What do you call it? The best tools to track tools to track every player in the ecosystem, basically. And guess what? We get a copy of our coins on the PulseChain when it launches. So there's a lot of, to me, it's a no-brainer. If you're new, you're coming in looking crypto only time, looking at those that golden triangle. It's not a triangle. It's the golden portfolio: the EHEX, PHEX, PulseChain, and PulseX. Yeah. So it's interesting stuff, isn't it? Lot to learn.
Sorry to interrupt, uNrekt. There was a pretty tight grouping this week around the 27 to sort of 32 marks. So anyone in that sort of range was pretty close. But we've got Stephen McClatchy.
Yeah, Stephen.
Is bang on with 29.5. So he is officially the Oracle bitch titch.
Hey, congrats, Steve.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it looks like he's in chat, I think.
What did I say? I guess mine's not there.
Yeah, no, I thought I seen yours. I did see yours. Maybe I didn't. Not sure, mate. Maybe I've missed yours. I can go back and have a look in a moment, but
That was cool. I think I had 28.5.
Yeah, we were around the same sort of mark. We were all around the 28. I think I can't even see tangents in there either.
Congratulations, Stephen.
Is he in? in the house. Yeah, good work, mate.
Two-time champion.
Yeah, two-time champion. That's all.
Two-time.
Dawsey down here as well. He was pretty close.
Dawsey.
Crypto King. I think. Oh, I might have taken the one for the on-stream guess. Although we haven't got Bluey, so he might have been up there as well.
Oh no, Tangent said 40.
40 cents.
40, yeah, he was right out there. Lex Friedman, he was close.
Well, Lex Friedman had a guess.
Yeah.
Shaggy. How much did
Shaggy went with 68.
Shaggy watches us. It wasn't him.
A lot tighter grouping this. So pretty much anyone in this range was in the running.
Last week, Steph got it. Did you see his comment on Twitter?
Yeah.
It was.
Officially he didn't get it because he wasn't here for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, it was good to see him chime in with a bid. So what you're telling me is now we've got to send out the link and we're going to all guess again.
He's asking. Stephen's asking for a trophy.
You can do that.
You know what?
Later, I guess.
Someone mentioned before, like maybe we could print up an NFT for bitch tits of the week.
You could have each person that wins each week, they get sent an NFT.
We're going to wait for Pulse for that one, okay? We're going to wait for Pulse.
Oh yeah. Is it hard to? Has anyone ever actually minted an NFT? Has anyone tried to do it?
It's not that hard, but it's just the fees.
I can't imagine it being too hard. Man.
Right. So no one has then.
JFK's chiming in there with a bit of encouragement. Nice work. All right, so hang on, give me a sec. I'll get the link ready for guessing. Get the microphone out of the way.
So, PulseX has been the news of the week. Like details, the tweets that were coming out on Sunday night. Like Bloobum and I did a stream on Sunday night, and Richard Hart was tweeting about some of the details. I was listening to a Twitter. Dipcatcher ran a Twitter, one of those live Twitter talks, and he had someone talking who I don't know who it was, but
he's got Pulse Swap, yeah.
Yeah, no. It was to do with PulseX, yeah. And it was like, why would you sacrifice for it? And he was saying that there's like, and this is not confirmed. I didn't hear it. Like I've just heard it through him saying it, so I don't know if it's legit or not. That the reason that you would sacrifice is that you will get like all that bot activity that happens. You will get in on that because you'll have the PulseX token before all of that stuff happens.
So you would get you don't. My understanding is you don't get anything from it, but you'll be the beneficiary of buyback.
Of the percentage. You'll get the liquidity reward.
On PulseX.
So
we should show the website.
So did you? What was that? Hang on. What was that thing that? Hang on. Jexxa, this week you put up a little thing in our chat, and it had.
That's why we should look at the website. We should go.
Yeah, I'll bring that. So let me just quickly finish off the get your prices in for next week, and then I'll bring up that one as well. That other link.
So that's what that guy was saying. So I don't know.
All right, so give me 1 second.
But it sounds very interesting, and that would be a reason why you'd want to sacrifice.
Well, not only that, there's more reasons than that. I mean, if it's very similar to cake swap.
That'd be a pretty big reason. That would be a
pretty big reason. It's got Richard Hart. It's got Richard Hart's endorsement, and he's kind of the big man on campus and all of crypto. I would suggest. I think he should get a bit more recognition around the grounds. Personally, well, that's just an observation from a layman. But everything he touches seems to turn to gold, to want of a better word. Like it's HEX has been perfect, a true masterpiece, a true innovation. This stuff is at the cutting edge. They're improving Ethereum. And now they're making a version of or a fork of, I think it's Pancake Swap or something like that, and they've got a liquidity token on it. But the coin is not a useless coin. It's actually got a function, and it actually can. I believe it pays a yield of some sort. I'm not sure.
It doesn't pay. Yeah, it doesn't quite pay a yield. Like, bring up this website. So I've put it in the share there. Now,
buyback burns. That's what it is.
Yeah. So I'll preface this by saying I haven't gone and confirmed everything that's on this website. I assume the person that's done this has done a bit of research and pulled information from within the PulseX chat. But the thing that I noticed here was this fees section. So we'll just go through what it's saying. So it's basically saying for each trade on PulseX, a 0.25% fee is paid. So rather, at the moment, most other dexes charge 0.3%. So this one's a little bit cheaper. Okay, so for each trade on PulseX, a 0.025 fee is paid. 0.17% goes to the LP token holders. So on other dexes, it's usually the 0.3. So the users that provide the liquidity that enables the trade. 0.03% goes to the PulseX treasury. Now, I don't know anything about what the treasury is doing or where those funds are going to be used. Obviously, the no expectation of profit thing applies there. Then we've got 0.05% goes towards the PulseX, so the PulseX token buyback and burn. And this is what I think Richard is referring to, is if you hold the token at that particular point in time when the bot goes through and readjusts all the pools and has to buy out all the PRC 20s, then you'll be the beneficiary of this indirectly, because the token buyback and burn will happen whilst you're holding it. So why is that a big thing? Well, it should put upward price pressure on the token.
Well, it's a pretty small amount to buy back and burn, and it will depend on what it's a pretty small buyback and burn, and it's also will depend on how much of this token is being generated.
Exactly.
It's not that small.
No, we don't know. He hasn't given those details, so we've got no idea if
0.05% is a fifth of 0.25%.
No. Yeah, but we don't know how many they're actually making, and so it's a very, very small amount to buy back and burn first off, and because it's of that, it's 0.0. It's a third of a percent. Oh, that's the treasury. Sorry, it's a 20th of a percent. It's bought back and burned, and that's of every swap, right?
Yep.
So, but we don't know how many of PulseX are going to be given out as rewards to those liquidity providers. So, and the other thing is that in Richard Hart's tweet, he mentioned the buyback and burn. But he has, as far as I have seen, he has not mentioned a treasury, and I was kind of very surprised to see it here. So,
like I said, I haven't confirmed any of this, so this could be BS.
This could just be conjecture.
Yeah,
because it is very curious that, like, a treasury, how would that be used? What do people vote on things? What's the go there? It's something that Richard. Hang on. It's something that Richard in the past has criticised as a way of organising a DAO. So wait and see with that one. And
you got into Matic when it just started. I remember you talking about how amazing it was and what huge returns there were for providing liquidity in the beginning. Am I right in when Matic launched, you were sort of involved in providing liquidity, and that the returns were just unbelievable, right?
For a week or something. and
Right.
then it kept going down.
Yeah. So I think that what we've got here is, I think the returns at the beginning, especially,
we don't know. We have no idea.
I think
the reason they
I don't think
big,
we can
right?
say that we've got no idea, because you've got
we do have
things.
Because the reason they're big.
No, I think the reason you do have an idea is you look at other stuff that's happened, and then you inform yourself based on other stuff that's happened. So you've got.
No, we can't. It might be a completely different system. The reason that they were big. But hang on, it wasn't. It was Matic you're talking about, and the reason they were big is because they were inventing this token that they were giving as rewards, and so it was the extra rewards for being a liquidity provider of this made up token, and this made up token had its own market, so it had value, but that value at first started going up, but then it crashed down, and so it didn't turn out to be that much extra. So that's what that was, and that's why it was very like.
So what was the exchange, like the AMM on Matic?
It was called Quick Swap.
Quick Swap, but is that like also just a fork of like a Uniswap fork?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Exactly the same. And you see the same on AVAX. They have their own kind of thing as well. Oh, they have a few of them. They have Pangolin and they have like some other one.
I just think that this thing is going to, where it's going to be different from those is there's just going to be so many more like opportunities for liquidity to be provided. There's just going to be so, like, because it's full system state. I just think it's going to be different for that reason.
But it depends on how many people make swaps on it. That's what it is. It's not about like how much liquidity is in there. I mean, that just means that the price won't move too much if there's tons of liquidity. But it's like it's how many swaps.
Liquidity. It means that people. It also means that you're right. You need people to interact with it, but it also means that if it's there, then they're more likely to come. Because there's nothing more off-putting than seeing like an automated market maker and there's no fucking liquidity.
Oh, look, there's no doubt.
What is there for me to do here? But if there's liquidity, it's like, oh, I can actually go do something here and not have slippage, like, not get 5-10% slippage while doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's just like this instant market, which is as big as Ethereum. Just banged out of thin air, but what's going to give it value is what gamification and what his incentive structure he puts onto PulseX, the tokens, and then that will mean how many are actually being minted, like what kind of inflation it has to be given out as rewards, and then how much of that is buyback and burn. And what's also interesting is like, okay, so he's got all this value in these liquidity pools, like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of US dollar value. How does that translate into the price of the PLSX token? Like, what's the relationship?
Well, the only
it's kind of like they're backed by that.
I don't think it's backed by it. I don't think you can say that.
Well, we don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, go on.
So day 43 is right. You need transactional volume to drive value into PulseX, because the more volume, the more fees that get generated. So the more burn that happens. But you're also right as well, Bluey. Unless you know the emission rate.
What I said that. That's what I said.
Yeah. So you're saying, well, how much is going to get given into farming? How much total supply? That all matters, and how fast is it going to get issued? But day 43 is right as well. It's if there's volume and that puts enough pressure to buy back the PulseX, then that's price positive. But you can't, like, we just don't know enough about the game mechanics.
We are speculating right now.
Yeah,
we're speculating because we're excited. We know that this thing is very soon.
I got a couple of questions as well. I got a couple of questions that relating back to that comment that I put up there of butt. Apparently, there's something to do with one of the stable coins, USDC, going over to PulseChain, and so that you could pick up like a whole bunch of stable coins for a little bit of money. Is that been floating around the Twitters or somewhere from Richard Hart, or what was that about? That's the first question. I've got another one too.
I think that's different to this question on screen. So on screen, this one's talking about the supply, is what I gather. So the thing that's going to determine the supply is how much USD value is sacrificed. So very much the same as the PulseChain supply. But we don't know how many points going to get issued. Is it going to be 1 PulseX per point? Are we just still too many unknowns? And then you've got you can think you've got all that nailed down, and then you have an event like we did with with PulseChain, where the supply on the very last 3 days was inflated by 100 trillion or something like that. So I just don't think we're going to know. I don't think we're going to know all those details going through.
There's too many unknowns at the moment. And I should know this, by the way, this next question. But can someone explain the mechanics? Did we see a wick up to 80 cents on the price chart? I'm not sure which time frame.
We did. I saw
it. How does that happen?
I know. I think Jack posted it on Twitter.
Okay.
Just now.
No, the other day.
No, it was in the last week. It was in the last week.
30 cents. It was up to 30 cents, not 80 cents.
Oh, it flipped up.
I think it wicked up to 80 cents.
Yeah, wicked right up. Yeah.
I think there's another chart that does calculated USD value. And I think that one, let me just have a look. I think that one spiked. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'll bring it up quickly if you like. So I don't think it's So what Sammy's talking about is this. You got that up there, day 43?
Yep.
So this big wick here is what Sammy's talking about.
Yeah.
But when you go back and you look on, so when you switch it to not a so don't use the calculated chart, but you actually use the USD pair, then you don't get that wick.
Hey everyone, we got the man, the myth, the legend, the Tangent, Mr. Tangent.
Hey, Tangent, what's up?
How
are you, bro?
I'm in. I'm out. I'm in.
Tangent's only one. Hey,
how is everyone?
Come party boy.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's all right. Oh, it's fashionable to be late. Hey, I heard you were on a bender this last weekend.
Yeah.
I saw photos. Hey, good weekend or what?
Yeah, it was pretty hectic.
Full of few.
Did you see the photo? Did you see my photo thread?
Yeah.
That was high risk. I was sending those photos out when I was fucked.
Awesome.
Hey, Tangent, your whole life seems like this massive bender with like 1 or 2 days off in the middle of the week. That's what it seems like to,
Don't let me misrepresent that. Like, as in, I'm not partying like 24/7.
Yeah.
Close though. No, I'm just kidding. I would say it's probably 50-50.
Well, just watch your mind and your body and soul, your health and fitness.
Yeah,
and that's probably $1 million or whatever you'll gladly give that over for your health and well-being. So just
have you guys
everything in moderation is fine in my book, but yeah.
It's like you sacrifice your health all your whole life to build wealth, and then you sacrifice that wealth to maintain your health.
True.
Yeah, and Richard Hart talks about that because obviously he's a big supporter of the longevity research. It's $27 million for the SANS Foundation, which is research and development in longevity. And gee whiz, just lost my train of thought there. But so it is very, but it is it's important, like the last 4 years of your life. That's the point I was going to make. The last 4 years of life are the most expensive, and that's all in medical cost. So, you want to maintain a good high quality standard of quality of life for as long as you can. And it is. I mean, look, let's face it. It's a lottery. You could walk out the front and get hit by a bus, or you could, one of the or just one of the more common things like heart disease or what's the other one? Cancer. Those two, they kill probably half the people. But we all got to go some stage. It's life. But so you got to seize the day each day. And
I think it's about taking calculated risks, and you can't do that unless you are educated as to what the risks are associated with what you're doing. So the education is
educate
important.
yourself.
I agree with it.
Yeah,
I agree with this guy. I just want to root as much as possible. I 100%.
Well, now we're getting into philosophy and the meaning of life.
But he's from the Australian
fuck.
Telegram chat. He's so funny.
What a bellend. He's a classic.
I 100% approve of his message.
He's funny as hell.
One of my friends used to say, "Live fast, die young, leave an amazing Instagram feed." He was joking though. I hope.
Some of those Instagram.
Big shout out to DJ Cryptomatic. He's got a HEX Hexmas Christmas special coming out tomorrow, and when you wake up on Twitch. So if you're not following DJ Cryptomatic on Twitch, go and follow him right now.
Will they get streamed?
Check out that special.
Will it get simulcast on YouTube as well?
That's a good question. Are you going to upload it to YouTube? Is that possible?
I think it's Twitch only.
It's pretty early for you Perth guys. Actually, I think it's for Brizzy people it's 7 a.m. For Melbourne Sydney people it's 8 a.m. and for I guess 5 a.m. or something. But let's all catch that. He's been doing hard work like mixing in people's messages and stuff like that, and
that's right.
Yeah, it's going to be an epic stream. So everyone tune in to Mr. Cryptomatic tomorrow morning for us, tonight for you guys in Europe and America. And just before, like, I'm quite bullish on PulseX. Like, I've been amazed at how many people have been flooding into that Telegram. There is definite FOMO.
11,000 people in there now.
It's nearly 12K, hey? And it's like, there is a lot of people who missed out on the Pulse sacrifice. A lot of people who feel like they missed out on HEX. And I'm not sure what that big FOMO right now is going to do if they all flood into the sacrifice. I think a lot of Hexicans and Pulsicans will all sacrifice something for sure. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's definitely something to, like Richard Hart knows how to do these things. Like what I'm finding really difficult is to try to work out what advice to give new people who are just finding out about this. And
I think one of the things that I noticed is people that didn't go through the PulseChain sacrifice, they don't understand the mechanics of what made the HEX price pump. So I've seen someone post a Twitter, and he got jumped on a little bit. So a few people tried to help him, but a few people jumped on him as well. And he couldn't grasp the concept of sacrificing HEX. For him, it was like, no, I've just brought my HEX. Why would I want to give it away?
Yeah.
So maybe for people that haven't gone through that before, it's probably good for people to understand how that mechanic works. So let's just say you were going to put $10,000 into PulseX, and you had the choice where you could go to an exchange, buy some ETH or USDC and send it straight in. Do it from your own wallet, but send it straight into the sacrifice address, and you would get $10,000 worth of value. Happy days. But what if you took that same $10,000, purchased HEX with it, and that pushed the price of HEX up, like we're seeing happen at the moment? So it pushes the price of HEX up. So that $10,000 that you put in there may become $15,000 or even $20,000 in US dollar terms, and then you sacrifice it. And when we done this last time on PulseX, I checked it today, and it was about a 380% gain that you would have got on your funds from the point in time when it was all, when we knew that PulseChain SAC was going to be a thing. If you had to put your money in then and just rode that wave for the 2 months or whatever it was until the sacrifice happened, 380% extra purchasing power for the sacrifice.
But you've also got to weigh that against doubling
exactly
the tokens.
Yeah. No. Well, this is separate money that you are going to put in to sacrifice.
But it's like it's still money that's in HEX, and that if you hold it at the fork, you'll double.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But if you were going to put money into the sacrifice, you were going to put money into the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Even at the 11th hour, so the day of the sacrifice, get your $10,000, put it into HEX, it pumps the price of HEX.
Yeah,
and then
as long as you're not paying too much for an Ethereum gas fees for that swap.
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
And Bluey, the same could be said for the Pulse sacrifice as well. I mean,
I know. That's why I'm finding it so difficult to offer advice to people who are just finding out about all of this right now. Like I've been chatting to a few people in the last few days and trying to like they're kind of asking me like, well, how much should I do? Should I keep HEX? Should I buy Pulse when it launches? Should I stake HEX long? Should I put into PulseX?
Yeah. There's a lot going on at the moment. Yeah, what percent? Everyone's hitting me up. What percentages? What should I do?
It's just like, man, I don't know. It's just like
it's impossible to know. But
all over Telegram, they all do it.
I think there's something to be said for the bragging rights of being able to say that you were in from the very start. So that would just on that thing alone, you
go all in.
No, just like as in put some allocation towards PulseX. Just if these are people that are fresh to the scene, that's the only project that they get. They'll have the ability to have the bragging rights of saying that they were in from the start. I know it's not really worth anything. It's just like a warm fuzzy feeling, you know.
Yeah. I just flicked over to Twitter just before. I don't get on there very much, but Mr. Tangent, can you please explain this? HEX is done with the prom queens. HEX is banging the milfs now in public.
Oh yeah, you know,
what's that about, mate?
I don't really think that through. It just sounded cool at the time, so I just.
It was awesome. It was very funny.
Nothing wrong with a good milf. I love a good milf.
I just thought of something, guys.
Every day of the week.
So what about let's say there's all these. Let's just think this out, right? There's all these like ERC20 token holders of these other like things like Chainlink and blah 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 whatever, and those developers have a huge bag of that thing, right? So when it forks, they're going to get all of their liquidity pools are going to be moved over, and then also whatever they hold is going to be doubled. And if they decide to support it, they're going to have those big liquidity pools. Now, the PulseX is going to be given as a reward for having liquidity in there. So will those guys, as they're getting PulseX, do you think they'll just dump it onto the market?
The liquidity providers?
Well, yeah, of all these other ERC20s.
Well, obviously, so this comes back to what other incentives do you give those holders? And that's why you end up with things like syrup pools and things like that. How can they generate more yield from it? Honestly, don't know.
A syrup pool is just a liquidity pool.
It's a one-sided. It's not a liquidity pool. It's one-sided. It's just staking essentially.
Oh, so basically they lock up their PulseX. They'll lock up their PulseX and get some sort of interest.
Yeah. So what? Yes. So on the cake side. On Pancake Swap, you put your liquidity in. You farm the liquidity pool, and you get given the cake token. So that's your reward for providing liquidity. Then you can take that cake token, put it into a syrup pool, which is just one-sided, so you're just staking it, and then you get given more cake. So it encourages you to remove supply off the market and have it sitting there staked, which is where I think...
Yeah, and you can immediately end those stakes without any penalties.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There is a small time lock at the start. It's like 2 or 3 days that you can't remove it after that.
Oh, is that true? I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
So my fear... Sorry, Sammy?
So PulseX, will we be able to stake that?
Yeah, it sounds like...
I would be very surprised if you couldn't.
And have you any idea of a yield, like 12% or any idea, or we're just pulling numbers out of our buttholes right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, it depends on how much you reward those pools. So that's an arbitrary thing that whoever sets the farm up sets.
That's a good point.
And so my fear would be that all of those people who are getting all this stuff for free, once they get those PulseX tokens, they're just going to dump them onto the market. They're not going to lock them up.
And unless there's some other game mechanic that.
Well, that's it.
So, and I guess the thing is the buybacks and all that are supposed to support the price.
Right.
Yeah. So it just becomes one of the supply side factors, and then you just need to outbalance that with more on the buy side.
We got two things going on with the buybacks. Obviously, there's a market buy event, so that's pushing the price up when you do that buy event, and then so that's a supply. Sorry, that's a demand side thing.
Market.
It must do
stuff that gets distributed.
So that's a demand side thing, and then you've got the supply side thing where it's actually then burning it. I'm just trying to think through whether what you just said then, Tangent. I'm trying to. What was the comment you just made?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Like in terms of the PulseX that would get given out for staking, it depends whether it's natively already there, or whether it gets bought off the market to be handed out.
If you're in a liquidity pool and you've got, say, Pulse and HEX, what do you get the reward paid in? The liquidity provider fee, sorry.
You get.
It would have to be in either one of those.
You get both. Yeah, you get whichever one is.
So if you're getting those, that's what the fee's getting paid in. So that's what would have to be used to go and buy on market the
PulseX.
Do the buyback, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they run that on the other ones. I guess you could set it up either way, right? You could just have a pool of tokens that get used for that purpose, like a treasury sort of thing, or you could just have it that it has to do it. But obviously,
have we seen buyback and burns on any other?
I personally haven't, but yeah, I don't know.
Guys, there's a question here from Execute 007. Jexxa, do you want to have a crack at that, mate?
Can someone tell me what PulseX actually do, though? They're just a reward token. It's like anything in the crypto market. Half of the price is based on speculation, and if you can drive value or capture value in something, that's what gives it value. And you can say the same thing about Bitcoin, HEX, bloody anything. Yearn, the Wi-Fi token, that's a classic example of something that was created with zero value and is now worth 32,000 a token. Pokemon cards, I mean, you can keep rattling it off. It's whether people choose to use it as some place to store some value. Now, if you can do some sort of dynamic that drives value in or helps capture value in there, and maybe this buyback thing is something that does, because it's an event that is generated by activity in the system, and if it just keeps hammering down the supply, maybe that does give it enough value. Basically, it's what the market determines it.
Speaking of,
it's basically the same token. It's a similar token to all of the swapping protocols. Like almost every swapping protocol, like Uniswap, PancakeSwap, they've all got their own token. So it'll do at least as much as those and possibly more. So like at a minimum, it will do everything that those tokens do. And then Richard might have other ideas of like additional shit.
Well, and that's what I think he's trying to do with the design now. Is he's trying to but try and do whatever he can to make sure that value is driven into that token. So there's some sort of scarcity about it.
Well, hence why he's making a sacrifice phase, so that people have to give up something of real value to get it.
So so for a start, that gives you a floor because people have transferred value. And this is what the conversation we went through with Buckethead that time, where he was saying, he was going, I don't understand how HEX is getting value. And I said, well, you're shifting your value from Bitcoin, ETH, whatever you have got value in. If you go give that up, you transfer that value into HEX. So, I mean, we see that play out all the time in the real world and in the crypto market. You're literally trading something of value and transferring that value into that other thing. So yeah, you might be right, Bluey, on that comment that the actual fact of people giving up something of value to get it in the first place sets
that already puts it ahead of these other tokens that were basically just generated with no sort of like input. Even though we have to be clear that those things are not actually linked, because it's like a sacrifice for a political statement. It's not actually buying the token.
Freedom of movement.
But
freedom of
having
movement,
said that, it's still a demonstration of value, like that people are valuing it.
They've given up something of value, destroyed or transferred that value into something else.
It's really weird. Like, people have such a hard time understanding HEX and why HEX has value and how it works. But they all seem to like jump all over these liquidity rewards, yield farming stuff, which to me just like makes such little sense compared to HEX.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
People love yield, yo. People love yield. Oh, sorry, HEX has yield.
HEX has better yield.
I love yield.
Yeah, way better.
Understandable. Like,
I think what was interesting was Pomp's comment this week. So Anthony Pompliano came out and he said he broke everything down into that time is the most important and most valuable thing on the planet, which we all know. We've known this for a while now, because when you break it down, every good or service that is delivered ultimately comes down to time, whether it's time to make a chair, time to dig up the materials that are used to make the steel that go in the chair. It all comes back to time.
Yeah,
and that's why
That's
right, because it monetizes time. So Pomp was trying to say that Bitcoin monetizes time, and to some degree he's correct, but it's not. I think he was.
Is uNrekt got a?
He's got a GIMP outfit.
He brought out the GIMP. I thought the GIMP was sleeping.
I've actually got an answer for uNrekt if he's still there. This is going to sound like a mad delayed reaction, but I was just thinking back to when I posted that tweet that he mentioned, and I think it started off where I wanted to say something along the lines of like, HEX is going to bang your mum. Like, if you're a hater, like as in HEX is going to bang like hater mums, like mums of haters are going to get absolutely banged. And then I just switched it to try and make it sound a little more fluid, you know?
A little more PG or
just like sort of a little bit less clunky.
Clunky, yeah.
And cliche as well.
Hey,
it was beautifully constructed.
Have you guys
good tweet.
Thanks.
Very good. Thanks, Faz.
You're right.
That answers that one. Hey, don't worry about me. No, I got it all worked out.
I think if you guys had a chance,
I endorse bits. Yeah. Cheers.
Any of you guys had a chance to play on the testnet version 2 and do some staking of HEX and all that sort of stuff? Because I've spent the last few days playing, and I love it. It's so quick. Mm-hmm. It's so cheap. Like gas to do a stake was 0.000. No, to do a swap was 0.00018. Like Pulse. To do like a Uniswap. To do a Uniswap trade from like Pulse to HEX. And
did you say that you ended some stakes? You ended some long stakes?
No. I did stakes on. What I did is I used the faucet to get some Pulse, and then I did some. I swapped them over for HEX, and then I did some. So these are accounts that I generated from zero. These are not my my Ethereum.
Because it'd be interesting to see. It would be interesting to see if someone grabbed like a really old stake that they never ended because it was just cost ineffective to do so, and then ended it on the testnet to see if that number is like magnitudes higher than the standard send swap. Because, you know, it's like a more complex amount of mathematics going on, right? Like the fee should theoretically be higher. Because
Ego do some crazy EESs as well on the testnet.
But you need the stake to be long, you know, for the math to actually have been.
Like if from that what he said just then, if the price of Pulse is like a hundredth of a cent or a thousandth of a cent, he was just saying that a swap was 0.0011 something of a Pulse. So we're talking about
if Pulse was $1.
Oh yeah,
Imagine Pulse is $1, right?
No doubt, it is going to be a tiny amount in dollar terms. But I'm just curious as to whether, because obviously it's still more computation, so it should still be more Pulse. Like there should be a magnitude higher, like possibly orders of magnitude higher to end long stakes.
If Pulse was $100 per Pulse, it would cost, like based on what I just did try it out during the week, it would cost 1.8 cents to end a stake.
But you've also got to think about it in future Pulse value, bro. That
Pulse
was
like
$0.01 of a cent or whatever could be like $100 in.
If Pulse, dude, if Pulse price, this is what I'm saying. If Pulse price was $100, it would cost 1.8 cents to end a stake.
Oh, okay. So it's still tiny, even at like a ridiculously high price. Okay, yeah, sick. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Yeah. We're not going to go to $100 in like not for at least 2 weeks after launch.
So do we?
So
when you do
great opportunities out there in crypto now, isn't it? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Plenty to choose from. But the golden portfolio is EHEX, PHEX, PulseChain, and PulseX. So get in on those, ladies and gentlemen. I know
what the correlation between those projects is going to be. That'll be interesting for Wales to do his correlation analysis on each of these projects to see if they are correlated to each other.
Yeah,
Tangent, you're going to have so many. You're going to have so many TA like things to be going through. You're going to be
looking forward to it.
The HEX price, Ethereum price, the Bitcoin price, the Pulse price, the PulseX price. Like
maybe some PRC20s. I'm keen for it because then I can go baller mode where I just don't even explain it. I'm like, this chart bullish, this one bearish, this one's bullshit, this one.
You're already baller.
It's like speed TA, like line, buy here, sell here, buy here, never sell.
I was watching I just want to mention I was watching a great stream before ours was on. There's this Kiwi dude, and it's his HEX token on YouTube. So check that out. Like if you want to search for HEX token on YouTube.
Channel name, cool.
Yeah, that was the channel name. I don't know his Telegram or his Twitter, but he was really cool. So another one to add on to the pile of great streamers. But
hey guys, I'm going to head off.
I think we're
have a good night. All right, I'll see you next time.
Good day.
Okay, see you start.
Yeah.
So I think what we're on that Masters, mate. Well done.
Yeah.
I think what we're seeing is maybe the second wave of all the second or third wave of all the influencers coming through now, like all the guys that have been in HEX for 6 or 8 months now are all deciding to pick up the mantle and run with it now and getting there, which is really good. And man, they're getting
PulseX people.
They're getting as many subscribers as this channel has in like a week or 2.
Whoa.
Yeah, so Taylor.
Are they already pre-famous? Like, is this like the NRL player and stuff?
Well, I think there's a combination of things. So obviously the community is a lot bigger, and if the community sees a new person, they'll all swamp over and support them. So that obviously plays a factor. But a lot of them are bringing their own audience as well. Like there's guys with tens of thousands of views that are of subscribers that are talking about HEX and not just as a fleeting thing, but as a core component of what they're doing now. So that's you're getting that whole new wave of people coming through.
Hey, we should mention Jexxa
scaling the outbound messages, and that's what we're about too. I mean, this we believe in the HEX product. It's. And so,
hey, to do that,
the network effect. It's the value of each user adds value to the network. So that's why we do these streams, and that's why we're streaming on the Discourse Syndicate network. They give us the platform, and we're across a number of the different streaming, like YouTube and Twitch and a couple of the other ones there. So we're trying to scale it up. But look, it is sort of grassroots at the moment and organic, and we don't take ourselves too seriously, obviously, on this show. It's entertainment purposes, not financial advice. And
would you take financial advice from someone in a GIMP outfit?
Yeah. Hey, what are you talking about? What are you call? I don't know one of those.
Actually, Jexxa,
interesting.
While we're at
interesting tweet about
I've got a rate dungeon in my
saying
house.
that it's more important to focus on people that are not within the HEX community in terms of growing your follower base, because when you're streaming and tweeting at the HEX community, it's like the preaching to the choir style thing where you're getting lots of likes and stuff, lots of engagement, but it's from people who are already sold. Like they already love HEX.
So what you're referring to, Tangent,
well, we do appreciate the support. From
hang on. What you're referring to, Tangent, is that they're organising a Twitter. If people don't know, there are some people organising like a Twitter, what do you call it?
I can't remember what like a Twitter storm.
Twitter storm, group. It's on Telegram, and they've actually written an article on howtopulse.com. If you've got to howtopulse.com, they've written an article, and they've listed what are the kind of things you want to do on Twitter to get more engagement
From
outside of the HEX community, and then they're going to organise at certain times to have storms about certain things to get that word out more. And so it's
like a pump and dump, but without the financial gain. Well, not direct financial gain.
Well, it's pump and pump.
It's a pump and dump. It's a pump and pump. It's a pump and pump.
It's just playing the metrics, really. It's
totally legal. It's totally legal. Like, as in, you're allowed to do a coordinated.
Yeah, and because the thing is the Twitter really reinforces our, what do you even call it? It's like who else our walled gardens, you know what I mean? So we need to be sensitive to break out of it. On HEX is the way. Are you a Korean?
Really good tweets where people are tweeting at specific communities that are built on Ethereum with things that say shit like, imagine if you were a coin XYZ holder and didn't know that you're about to get double your coins on the Pulse net. So kind of like a little slogan-y kind of advertising thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I've also been going a bit into Discord, into a couple of groups and just kind of mentioning stuff here and there, just in a very human way, you know what I mean? Hey, if you guys heard about this, you should be checking out this, blah, 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 blah. You're about to get double your coins. I haven't been getting many.
That's fair. That's legit. That's completely
totally
fair.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because I don't get much interaction, even if the people I've met and stuff like that. But
people are immediately anyone who's been in crypto for a while is immediately defensive of anything that sounds like it could be a shilly sort of too good to be true sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. But
But they'll work it out.
They'll have to because they'll have all this free stuff on PulseChain. But there is really this psychological block around a lot of those people, especially the ETH people and people who have been in their own kind of world and yeah.
What were you going to ask before?
Well, speaking of that, Christmas is coming up. Christmas is coming up, 4 days.
Jexxa, we should also shill Kraken and your kind of thing of trying to get the word out about Kraken and what people can do with that.
Yeah. So actually, I'll have a little chat about that because I did get a bit of pushback from some people in the community, and I understand what the pushback was about. So the general gist of what I'm trying to do is trying to break through to at least get one major exchange, and I've targeted Kraken to get HEX and Pulse assets listed on that exchange. And it's important that we get at least one of those guys on board, I think. Now, I know people going, well, we don't want people leaving their coins on exchanges, and I get all that. So I was getting a bit of pushback from that. But even we seen a tweet come out from Richard the other day about the Coinbase, where he said it's still not a direct listing, but making progress. So I think even he recognises that we do need one of these large exchanges to topple. And so the reason why we want to do that. So first of all, have a think about from a Pulse perspective, actually. Let's take a step back. From a HEX perspective, an easy onboard route is awesome. You can save people a lot of fees. People that couldn't afford to get on board can get on board sooner. And we've still got a number of months before Pulse is around, I reckon. So there's a lot of people that are in that position. So that's from a HEX perspective. From a Pulse perspective, these exchanges are going to have massive, massive bags of PRC20s. And that is an untapped community on every single exchange that if you can make them aware of that, that is an absolute truckload of users that you can drag across. So we can siphon, we can do like a vampire attack on every single one of those exchanges and get their user base across. So that's really, really important. Now, and then there's a kick-on effect.
Kraken's legit, yo. Like, as in,
Kraken's good.
I've been on Kraken since, like, they were around when Mt. Gox was around. So, like,
Mt. Gox would have been. They have been around for a long time.
Mt. Gox started first. It was the only one at the first, obviously. But by the time Mt. Gox went down, Kraken already exists. I know this for sure because they offered to handle all the creditor claims on behalf of all the users that got their funds lost. So they made it really easy at first where you just went and logged in on their shit, and then they just had like forms where you basically submitted to them, and then they were going to basically handle everyone's Mt. Gox claims all as one, like as a class.
Yep.
Do they have Aussie dollars?
So yeah, they do now. They didn't back then, but they do have Australian dollars now.
They cover every major, like the European areas, US area. They cover everything. And to get on board
back then,
now,
they were just euros and American dollars, but now they've got AUD and other stuff.
And we don't like KYC and all that bullshit. I get that. But from an onboarding perspective, for someone that wants to get cash in, literally within 10 minutes, I was up KYC, able to do everything.
I don't know if I ever KYC'd with them. Maybe because I've got such an old account that they just let me slide through. But I don't think I ever gave them KYC.
I think if you wanted to deposit fiat, you would.
If you're starting to go real large values and stuff,
but and that was with me cocking up, adding one of the documents and having to deal with support, and support was like instant. So I want to pump Kraken too much because it's not what the purpose.
No. Let's be clear here. Exchanges are still a terrible idea. Like,
do you think that all the people who have ERC20s on all of the exchanges, if they just immediately automatically got PRC20s just appear, that's just a massive amount of onboarding for Pulse.
Yeah. So do you know what the kick? So this question that's just come up, this is important because I've got a meeting with CoinSpot on Thursday. So part of my role with Liquid Loans is doing all the exchange engagement. So we've got an appointment with CoinSpot on Thursday. Now, what you got to understand about these guys is where they pull their crypto from. Yeah, so if we go to them and say, "Oh, we want you to list Pulse," they'll go, "Yeah, that's great, guys, but we don't have order books, deep order books and stuff like that." They have to actually go out to someone like a Kraken or a Deribit or someone like that and fulfill their orders for their customers on other platforms. So it's important that you have one of these majors where these guys can pull everything from.
Yeah.
So they don't actually have their own order book. They are.
So that's another reason why Pulses are going to be a game changer as well for that.
It's a very thin order book.
Pulse will Pulse is going to really enhance adoption, I think, of crypto. I think it's going to be it's just going to smash the lights out. Game over. But I mean,
one time I actually heard about a hybrid between a DEX and a centralized exchange. There was some project, I forget what the name is, probably better because we don't talk about other coins on this show. But there was a project where they were talking about having that like a hybrid where it's a DEX, but they also leverage off the exchange. Like
I vaguely recall
with an exchange, and then they just intercross their own. Do you remember hearing about that? That was quite.
I think it might have been something you.
That was a fair
chat. Yeah.
So, which are the major exchanges in the world?
Sorry. I guess the biggest.
Everyone knows
Binance,
Kraken, Binance.
KuCoin.
KuCoin.
KuCoin was a young upstart, but got big quick. And I think when Binance went the KYC route, a lot of users went to KuCoin because it's a very similar interface. I actually always suspected that they either plagiarized heavily from the UI UX from Binance or are actually owned by the same entity and just did it as like a way that they could list less reputable coins. And if that's the case, it paid off with this.
Is that even possible?
True. Yeah, true.
It was very interesting. The art, Sammy, your article that you posted about trying to find the lawyers who want to sue CoinMarketCap, they actually can't find the people who own Binance. They can't serve them because they haven't got an address for them. Eh?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? They must be hiding. But to mention that lawsuit in that article,
well, they're on Twitter, but there's no address for them.
So everyone thought they were registered in Malta for a long time, and the reality was they never did legally get set up in Malta.
Is CZ a part owner, or is he just CEO?
No idea. Absolutely no idea.
CEO. I think the owners were these other people who are on Twitter. There's 3 of them. They had Chinese-sounding names.
I mean, I've been watching some videos lately about how ultra wealthy people launder money and how banks help them do it, and that sort of thing. And just out of curiosity, no.
By the way,
I'm not looking for tips.
By the way, I'm hosting the stream on a hotspot, so if it does go haywire and drops out, you'll know. But look, there are some valid use cases for actually being arrested. You got a pair of handcuffs like these ones. You probably want to get into those. They're really good.
Hang on. What were you saying? That was interesting.
So basically, these docos, they've got experts talking about this stuff, and they all agree that if someone has structured their obfuscation correctly, there's not a person in this world that can link back and find out who the actual owner is. And the glorious part of it is those people still get to use their assets as if it's theirs. It's not like the analogy they give is it's not like burying money or gold in a backyard where you can't use it because it's buried. This is all the benefits of being able to use your assets with none of the actual identity link, and people can't trace it back. And they said it's actually relatively easy to do when you stack different corporations. They reckon you can even start a company in the UK with no identity. You can literally start a company in the UK with no ID, with no identity linked to you.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind. I thought that didn't sound right.
Around and have bucket companies and shell companies and offshore companies,
just trusts and then you just go in different countries, and so that if someone was to try to follow the trail, it would just be next to impossible.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I think London is one of the centres of where a lot of those people do that, and also in America and London are actually the 2 places where they've set up structures so they can do that kind of stuff.
They're basically saying the incentive structure is there for them to do it. Everyone, all the lawyers, all the businesses, everyone involved in that thing, it's incredibly lucrative. So they said it's...
But everyone takes a little bit along the way, hey? Oh.
Yeah, they were saying people need to be literally insane to whistleblow it because A, they're making stacks of money, and B, the people they're doing it for are not past putting a hit on you, if you know what I mean. These people don't mess around, and if you were to blow up their spot and wreck their shit,
they can buy the court, they can buy the lawyers and the judges and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, they're probably still not going to get busted anyway. They're probably still going to buy their way out of it. So you're just you've got
look at compliance integrity, character is important.
Banks, this toothless commission that still found out stuff that nothing was ever done about.
If you get to that stage where you're actually innocent, Your Honour, your lambs to the slaughter. So compliance, integrity, and character. You've got to make sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's on all your stuff. I mean, I know look, I don't want to unpack Pandora's box with all of that stuff, but
yeah,
you know, look, it's hard. It's hard. I'm finding some of that stuff really quite challenging. But anyway, yeah. I mean,
oh yeah, we forgot FTX. We forgot FTX.
Oh yeah,
tin top threw down. That's a good point. FTX. That's another one that's even newer than KuCoin and has blown up to become like, I think it's the biggest exchange.
And FTX, but FTX is like that was financed by CZ as well, wasn't it? Like that's financed, even though it's Sam Bankman-Fried or whatever. I think the original money for that came from CZ.
I mean, that would make sense, right?
Yeah.
That you get a stake in your competitors so that if they actually end up taking you out, then you're still sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think as the value of the digital asset increases, so should your level of security around your OPSEC and your ciphers and protecting your most valuable assets. So it's not like a house or property or things like that where there's all sorts of I guess legal and physical attributes to those assets. It's the old cliche, and we've heard this a million times: not your keys, not your crypto. You never give out your seed phrase. Always protect that, and it's like it's like your PIN number to your. It's probably more than just a PIN number, but yeah, it's similar to that. You don't go out in the street naked, or sort of some of the girls do around this neighbourhood, but it's the middle of summer, and so can you blame them? Really, I endorse that. I think it's really good seeing lots of nice young ladies walking down there with just bikinis and stuff. Loving it. It's living the dream. And so all this stuff about saying we're all locked down and everything is horrible in Australia, I disagree with that. I reckon Australia's the best. Anyway, maybe New Zealand might be slightly. Anyway, we'll get into that. I just thought I'd say that. I don't know where I was going with that. I was on a tangent. There you go.
Yeah. Hey, HEX is the way. I just went in and subscribed to your channel before. So everyone, HEX is the way has just started doing streams as well. He's a Korean guy, I think. So maybe check his channel out. Just in YouTube, put HEX is the way.
Yeah, he's also on Twitter as well. HEX is the way. So if you want to reach out there.
Yeah.
Cool. Now we've got a broad range of skills in the community, haven't we? So
what else?
A miner that knows what's going on.
It's going to be awesome when the Asians start coming in. Hey,
so much going on.
When Koreans find out what it is and work it out, and Japanese and Chinese and Vietnamese.
Oh yeah, bro. There are areas of the world where the population is just absolutely bonkers, and if you had like a viral explosion in any one of those countries, dude. It would just be ridiculous. It would be madness.
It's going to be berserk. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of interesting areas of expertise within within HEX and within crypto more broadly. So you just got to find the thing that you like and sort of learn about it, and you can't really go wrong. Or you can. There's lots of pitfalls in crypto. We should point out, and it is considered a risky asset. But I've noticed that it's starting to get some mainstream media attention. The front page of the Australian, which I know is a right-wing rag, but they had an article about institutions and banks and things like that actually starting to provide services in the crypto space as well. And I think that's just another little thing that's just going to increase the adoption and get people to actually recognise it as it's a credible asset class now. And of course, if you've got HEX and you've staked it, congratulations, because you are winning. You are winning.
Was there any more info in that article, uNrekt, about like what Commonwealth Bank are doing, or is there any other banks in Australia that are?
I think they're teaming up with Gemini. I think they're falling over themselves. There's a lot of money floating around out in the old legacy systems looking for a home. And as you know, the fiat currency is being debased or inflated to oblivion, and so you're on the winning team. You got your money on the winning horse if you've walked it over the bridge into crypto. Fact, because I've done it, and I'm not like the sharpest tool in the shed, as you can tell. And but we like having put my hand up. I admit. it is what it is. So, and we like having these conversations. Much to learn. I learn a lot from you guys. I really like having these chats, and I watch all the streams as much as I can when I can, and it sort of fluctuates depending on how much time I've got available to sort of do my research and learn. And I know what I need to know. So you should too.
Right, so at the cricket, the scoreboard sponsored by Independent Reserve, hey? At the cricket.
This is the quality of information that we get in our West Australian newspaper.
Are you joking? They're way behind the curve. They're way behind the curve.
A double page spread on Craig Wright.
Oh man.
Man.
It's a joke, isn't it?
God,
it's a joke.
I feel nauseous.
But I saw there was they're having a whinge because some people lost their money in a coin called Cum Rocket. So if you're out there and you put your money in Cum Rocket, then you deserve to lose it. Come on, I'm like what?
Pretty much you deserve to lose it.
I'm gonna make a shit coin, call it Cum Rocket, and everyone's gonna buy it.
There's no helping that.
I'll just rug it.
Was Cummies the same coin? Was that I think Cummies might have been the code, like the short code for Cum Rocket.
That could have been like how we call ourselves.
Well, it might have been a separate
Cummies.
Might have been a separate coin.
It's mad.
Yo, Bluey, I was just thinking more about what we were just talking about. Have people been doing translations or trying to translate the most key hex content? Because dominantly it's English, right? Most of the hex content
people have been
English.
doing translations.
So people have been translating the most important sites.
Yeah, well, Crypto King in particular and the Hex Asian have been working on Asian translations for everything.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Absolutely legendary.
And I think they've done Tagalog, which is that's the Filipino language, isn't it? They've done I think Korean has been done, and Japanese is in the process of being done. And I think there's a Korean Telegram chat as well. So it's slowly starting to happen for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I think that, I was in the Hex Pro, they were talking about in France, they've got a pretty weak kind of like Telegram and people in France don't really know about Hex too much. So they're starting to try to make waves more. And the traditional people in crypto in France are a bit anti-Hex or Richard and stuff. So they have to break through that. But, they're starting to get paid attention, and so it'll just be a matter of time.
I speak un petit peu français, and I know how to go into the Telegram chat and tell them to fuck a pig. That's one of the lines I know how to say in French.
Really comes in.
I don't know how to ask for a freeway. Was it? How do you say that? Mercy Boo. I can't remember.
Don't get it confused, or you might end up with a pig, uNrekt.
Yeah, I've had got to go through a few pigs. Hey, Sammy, how you going, mate? You've been quiet tonight. How are you?
Yeah, I've had a big day. I started work early, then I went to gym, and now.
Come on, Sammy, you're retired.
No, I'm not. I'm working the full time, Jex. Next year is going to be the year.
You're saving up to buy more Pulse, aren't you?
Yeah, and PulseX now. So I'm going to go in. Not as hard as PulseChain, but I'm going in. What about you guys?
Absolutely.
You got to chuck your hat in the ring.
Yeah, you've got to be in it to win it. You got to be in it to win it. And
it's so hard.
X, all in.
Hard. And then what do you do about liquid loans? And then it's just like
the amount of feedback loops we're going to have between all the different projects is insane. I hope everyone's paying attention, because there is going to be so much positive feedback loops that we can all just drive more value into all of these things.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. So if you're not paying attention, wake up and start.
Have any of you guys have you guys been on the testnet and the V2 testnet and suss it out? I saw Day 43 was talking or put some stuff in one of the chat rooms about using it, and it's breath of fresh air and works really well, fast and cheap. So everything's looking. The signs are looking pretty good. And as Bluey's saying, we're gonna have. Do we need to look at the chart? This little pump we're having because seems that the sellers are now exhausted and the bulls are on parade and taking over because there's more demand than supply. Simple economics, and that's why we're seeing some price appreciation at the moment. But if you're staked, you're getting the price and you're getting coins.
Can we do a 5-minute TA tangent?
Yeah. I need to clean. Guys, keep talking about. I'll just clean this chart up because I've just got my beautiful parabolas all over the place. I'll just clean this up.
Let Tangent get his parabolas organised. Hey, have you got any experience with yield farming? And can you explain a little bit about what you actually do if you want to yield farm?
Yeah, so we touched on this about an hour or so ago, I think, in the stream. But basically, that's fine. Happy to go over it again. So we all understand you go to a DEX and you put in, let's say you wanted to buy HEX, you put in how many USDC or ETH you want to swap for that HEX, and you're basically buying out of a pool of available HEX and USDC that sits in that pair. So there's people that come and put that liquidity into that pair. Now, when they do that, they run the risk of what's called impermanent loss. So if the price of one of these assets takes off, then they can get caught by the difference there where they could have been better off just holding both the tokens. But one of them's moved away, so they end up holding more of the one that's valued less and less of the one that's valued more. So you go, okay, well, how do you incentivize people to come and be liquidity providers if they have to wear that risk? And that's where farming came about, is if you deposit liquidity, you can take what they call the LP token that you get, which is basically just like a T-share. It just represents how much of a liquidity pool you own. And you can go deposit that into a farm and get given a secondary token. So on PancakeSwap, it's Cake. On PulseX, it will be PulseX token.
So what if you don't want to do the yield, like provide liquidity? Can you still yield farm?
Well, you don't need to. And that's what the sacrifice is about, is you're buying that token that people would essentially yield farm. And then you can and then you could probably go and stake that and earn more of it, or you could just hold it. And like I said, if we're getting these burn backs, these buys and burns, then hopefully that puts upward price pressure on that token.
Nice.
I think Richard's trying to make it more than just a simple governance token. And I use governance in inverted commas because they provide no governance at all. They don't allow. Generally, they don't allow you to participate in any sort of voting. Now, that may be different on PulseX with the Treasury. Who knows?
I guess someone was going to do it, and so he's just kind of gone, well, people are going to FOMO into something, so I'm going to try to make it as best for people as I can.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if you have to run one of these systems on your network because it's important, and let's face it, the DEX is one of the most important tools you can have on it. How do you remove the suck from that tool and I guess make it beneficial for the people that support it? So I think we all know the way he works and the way he tries to drive value into these things. So I'm sure he's working his hardest to make sure that's the case.
And so you would have a clue what you think the market will be or anything like that?
No idea.
Nowhere.
I don't even know whether I haven't checked this. I don't take this as being correct. I don't even know if things like Cake have a upper limit. I don't know if they've got a cap supply or not. They should, but I don't know if they do.
We'll soon find out.
I assume not.
What's that?
So what do you reckon?
I assume.
What do you reckon, Tangent? Yeah. Should we have a look at these?
Yeah.
Should we have a look at your analysis?
Pull up this chart.
That's what the Hexicans come to see.
So the good news, which might be a little bit obvious, is that we're out of this downtrend. Or are you? I think you need to.
Oh, sorry, bring it up.
All good.
Sorry. Now, oh no, here we go. Where is it? Oh yeah, sorry, mate. Here we go.
All good. So this is the last of the downtrend that we went through from, what was that, 11th of November. So it's only like 6 weeks ago. So we were going through this downtrend, and then we convincingly broke out of that downtrend, and we've just been rocketing ever since. And so I've been drawing lots of pickle parabolas, but I've just got rid of them all, and I've just got this one parabola now. So it looks like we are, going parabolic. Like, this is some pretty extreme upward price action. So we'll see if we can continue going up or whether we're going to break this parabola. We've got this fib retracement tool here. So these purple lines here are the extensions of the fibs. And you can see we went close to this fib level here, and we've been getting rejected off something, which could be to do with that fib. But basically the next one after that is going to be just over 36 cents. So it's like 36 cents, then 43 cents or 42.8 cents, then the previous all-time high, which was that 51 cents, and then after that it's blue sky. So
nice.
This has certainly happened a lot faster than I was expecting. I did not expect for us. I thought that there would be more sideways action at the bottom, like not in a way that would give you a lot of time to buy in, because if we were going sideways through here, you wouldn't actually know whether we're going to have another leg down. So it would still be a very tricky bottom to buy, but I just was not expecting just this straight rocket ship back up into almost where we've gone over 30 cents.
Do you guys think there's a relationship with like how long somewhere has been in a bear? So let's say we've been in a little bear for the last 3 months in X, yeah? Like, is there a relationship with how long that bear goes for and then how high it pumps after that?
I think the depth is probably more a thing as well. Like, I think we were way oversold because of those other events we spoke about, which were probably artificial sell. Artificial sell pressure. So maybe that's why. But a lot of times you do get that V-shaped recovery. That's what you go back and look over the chart, and we have a lot of those drawn out downtrends and then massive V-shaped recoveries.
Yeah. There's usually two ways that you bottom. It's either a sort of a V with a capitulation wick where people just capitulate and it goes down suddenly and then rebounds fairly quickly as well. And then those long rounding bottoms. So, but I don't think it necessarily is then indicative of what the next bull cycle is going to actually do in terms of its length and height. I don't think they're necessarily related.
If you do
they're so complex.
If you do a fib extension though, because that's part of a fib extension, is how deep was the pullback? Yeah.
So that's I've got this one on here at the moment. This is from the all-time high down to what we're assuming now was the very bottom. And this highest fib extension goes all the way to $1.79.
What I actually like is the 1.618 extension. That's the one that floats my boat, because that's around the 90.
It chopped you out just as you said the name.
What do you reckon, Jex?
The 1.618 fib extension.
Oh, yep, this one here.
Now, depending on where yours looks a little bit different to mine, but mine sits right on the 96 to 98 mark.
This one's like 76 cents.
Yeah, so the way I've done mine
sits on about, color to read.
Yeah, mine sits on about the 96 mark, which is our next doubling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes sense that dollar is going to be a resistance anyway, right? Because of the whole psychological barrier.
Yeah. You'd think,
So that's what I'm aiming for.
Are you going to have a crack at that question, Louis?
Yeah. About Stella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I thought it was the one that was the super chat. The super chat for the price predictions on Pulse.
I haven't seen that.
Short term. Look, I think we discussed that earlier, and it was too many variables to sort of be like throwing darts at a pin the tail on the donkey.
Oh yeah.
So look, I don't know. No one's got to crystal ball.
No idea.
Look, it hasn't even been, it doesn't exist yet. So it doesn't exist yet. So
we don't have the tokenomics.
It's even harder.
And also, we won't know until we've seen how much is sacrificed for it and what the market cap is.
Will we see any of the big players come out and go hard?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Remember, there was the God whale that doubled the HEX price in a single candle. If you have something like that happen, you can't predict that kind of thing, you know?
What's Eddie?
So it could be madness.
What's his question? He's getting upset. Has
Oh,
anyone seen my...
right. Oh, must have missed that one.
What's yours?
Eddie,
What did you say?
put your original question, man. You've pinned us about 10 times.
Is Mr. Wing there?
Look at my...
Hey,
Young and Wild.
Is Mr. Wong there?
update on Stella.
The Wing Wong number.
What are you going on?
Louis,
I've got a joke for you.
how's Stella going?
Yeah, so Stella's going really well. She's super happy. A couple of people donated for her. She's got some HEX and she's got a little bit of ETH. And she's texting me today saying, you know, all excited and okay, what do we do now kind of thing, you know? And that's where I'm kind of like, I'm not really sure what to advise her at this stage. Like she's got a little bit of pulse. She's got a tiny bit of ETH that she could make a stake with, or that, you know, she'll get a little bit of pulse to make stakes on that with. PulseX is coming up. I'm not really sure what to advise in terms of percentage.
Louis,
Just
Okay, all right.
Or not
Okay,
stake.
all right. Okay, so let's have a little go around the room and just for our thoughts, like not financial advice or anything like that. If you had $10,000, what percentages would you think you might do for maybe the Pulse SAC, holding HEX, and maybe another one that's dear to my heart, liquid loans?
Or Pulse.
Or
buy
Pulse,
some
yeah,
Pulse.
or how much? Yeah. So if you've got those four key things, what percentages would you do?
Well, I would, if I've got $10,000 worth, I would put like maybe, I don't know, a couple of grand into PulseX because you're getting in a ground floor. Maybe another couple of grand for when PulseChain launches because you're still getting in at a pretty good price. And then with the rest, I'd probably, keep my HEX and maybe stake half of it for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd do.
2,000, 2,000, and 6,000 is what you do?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that seems about right. I was thinking like just now when you said it, I was thinking like 70% in HEX and then 10% in each of the other three.
Yep.
I missed the question. Question because my battery went flat on my headphones, so that could be a sign that we're coming to nearly the end of the day. But what was the question again? Sorry, I missed that.
10 grand.
If you had 10,000 in your back pocket now, someone new coming in, what would you do with the 10 grand across the Pulse, HEX, PulseX? I threw in liquid loans, and is there another one? That's it, isn't it? The four.
I think that's fair. Like they're the ones that I'm at the moment considering.
They're the ones that are floating around the community.
The golden portfolio.
Yeah. They are legitimately the ones I'm looking at.
Yeah. I'm calling it the DeFi trifecta. But
trifecta. Yeah, it is. That's what it is. Yeah, exactly.
It's a quad now, though, isn't it?
I'd actually be 80, 90% HEX. I would, even with the 10 grand now, like, because look, it's really hard. That's actually a difficult question. I mean, if you wanted to, depending on how risk averse you were, and how soon and what your ROI horizon is as well. So I don't know. I just like the simplicity of HEX, even though like it's simple, but it's complicated and it's advanced, and that's what I'd say about that. So, but yeah, all of them are good. All of them are good to sort of like put a bit of lunch money in early. Probably, like, I think it is true. If you get in early, you're taking the bigger risk because, it's you don't know what's going to happen in the future, whether the coin will survive or anything. You could lose your money. Anything could go wrong. So, yeah, look, I'm probably not the best person or the most qualified person to answer that, but that would just be what I do. I definitely want to hold all of those coins. So, but I'd be at least 50, 60, maybe 70% HEX. That's just how I roll. and I'll just use Pulse and HEX, and then other ones maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna go with 3-3-3-1, where the 1 is Pulse X and equal split 3K each for the other 3. Maybe a slightly larger allocation towards HEX, because because you really don't know how it's going to play out, and there is that whole thing that Richard said himself right at the start, that newer projects have got less overhead resistance. So, but I think maybe even still, maybe like 5K HEX, 2 on liquid loans and Pulse, and then 1 on Pulse Swap. Like, look, I want to be clear. I'm mega bullish on all 4. It's just there's a restriction.
It's a small amount.
So
that's right. That's what I'm saying. Because people are legitimately in this position and they don't know what the hell to do. I think everyone pretty much agrees that HEX is still an alpha play, because if you make that the larger portion, well, you're going to get 100% the amount of tokens. So that's a pretty sure bet.
You get a yield, and you get a yield. You're
going to get double, and you're also getting one that you already know is really like it's already got 2 years of history. So there's that.
Yep.
That's the compromise. You've got more history to know it's legit as, but
HEX is the blue chip, eh?
HEX is now the blue chip.
Oh, totally.
Right. Has everyone gone?
Uptime. Come on.
Has everyone already gone? Because I want to flip a different question, because we've covered the what would you do if you were a noob?
Jexxa didn't say what he would do.
Yeah, mine was very similar to yours, Blue, where I think you'd probably, if you were just coming the first time, you want to secure your HEX bag at least until the fork. But then you want to, I think, like Tangent said, there's some really good upside potential on all of those other ones. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit conflicted because of my role with liquid loans. So, but I'll be at least doing 10% across each of those. Probably less on Pulse X, and just having a bit more, even if it was more HEX, that you were going to convert to Pulse once you could. So put it into HEX now, let it grow, with a view that once the chain launches,
and if Pulse and HEX moons at some point, you've got
at least you've got a foot in every camp, and if one of those rockets, then you can reallocate things if you needed to.
We should also clarify that for the allocation that's going towards Pulse, I wouldn't be sacrificing it. I'd be waiting for the main net and buying it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's what you can do
just to make sure that people aren't.
You don't sacrifice it. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, Hexagon staked out 5-5-5-5. This journey's got a long way to go, and so that it's look, it's looking at it's the fastest appreciating asset class in the history of the world. So, if you're having a bit of a first dip at the I guess the investment side of it, it's worth at least your effort and time to look at research and find out what suits you better, because none of this is financial advice.
Tangent, did you say you had another question?
Yeah. So it's kind of the opposite question. It's like, if you were one of these guys that's just like baller as shit, unlimited, you've got effectively unlimited money. Like, you've got access to unlimited economic energy, for all intents and purposes for like regular people. How would you then play that? Like, as in, because crypto is not without risk. So I think it would still be irresponsible to just go like all in. So let's say like, you've got 20 mil, but your net wealth is only like, I don't know, like 22 mil or something like that. So it's like, what would you do? Like, how much would you keep in fiat to like protect yourself against, like, if it just shits itself? How much would you put in, like, you know what I mean? Because I'd probably be going pretty large in Pulse if I was in that position. Like unrestricted investment opportunity.
Yeah, I'd be going hard on HEX and Pulse, and then I'd be using other tools that allow you to leverage that in a better way.
That's what I was about. I would take a significant amount of that Pulse and then just get the dollar thing and then go the stability pool on liquid loans and just smash that.
You can get more HEX, you can get more Pulse. You got so many more options. That's what I'm talking about. All the feedback loops, where you have so many feedback loops that are going to be in this system. It's not funny. Like,
yeah.
And I think it's that snowball thing. Like, you've just got to get enough momentum rolling where you can actually then allocate in different ways across all of these, and just keep growing and growing and growing.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about? Okay, so there's going to be a whole lot of people who have some liquid HEX, and they're going to get double after the fork, and so they're going to be tempted to put those 2 hexes into the liquidity pool and earn PulseX from it, earn 25% or whatever it is, blah 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 blah. What do you think?
You'd actually be making both.
What do you think of that versus getting the both hexes and then just staking both your hexes in this HEX contract? Like, it's a much better value.
It's interesting. That's really interesting because you know that liquidity providers make the most money in a sideways market. And when you've got 2 versions of the same coin, it's pretty likely that the majority of that price action is going to be sideways, right?
But do you think it's value proposition just to stake your HEX is probably way better? So why don't you just stake your HEX on both chains?
I agree, Bluey. That's what I would do to get all that interest.
Remember that if you do it the way that you just said first, so not staking it into the HEX contract, you are then technically making yield, but you've got full liquidity because you can rug pull that liquidity whenever you want. And I'm using the term rug pull loosely here, but
that's the difference. If you're locking it up in the HEX contract, you haven't got access to it.
Yes,
so
exactly.
But
so
it's like
you don't have to think because you can go large and then you can take it out whenever you want.
Yeah, but just set yourself 15 years later.
What about the dudes going into HEX with, like, you know, millions and millions of dollars and pulling it out after 30 days and making like these real distant money? Like,
I mean, you could do a mix.
Yeah, you could. If you had that much money, you could. Hey guys, anyway, I'm gonna take this opportunity to go. So hey, Merry Christmas. I'll catch you in chat. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for watching.
You too, Sammy.
And we'll
Sammy.
Talk to you soon.
Take care. Merry Christmas,
Sammy.
warm wishes to all your family, all the Hexicans out there, wherever you are in the world. We hope you have a wonderful time. See you, Sammy.
See you, mate. See you guys.
See you, Sammy.
Sammy, DJ Cryptomatic.
But yeah, stay safe out there. Have a Merry Christmas. Look after your families. And so Pirate walks into the bar with a ship's wheel sticking out the front of his pants, and the bartender asks, "What's that wheel doing sticking out of your pants?" And the pirate says, "It's driving me nuts." Okay? There you go. On that note, look, I'm sure we could talk till the cows come home about how wonderful the HEX community is, and we would never be able to shout them all out, and all the wonderful things that we're seeing, and also and it's all just backed by the fact that this immutable code is running 100%, and it's making millionaires all the time, and we're going to see. I think we're going to see a lot more. You know, we've got the strong leadership of Richard Hart. You know, and he's got the ambitions of a ravenous lion. I think is someone quoting the HEX audit chat in Telegram. That's a really good one. He's the guys in there. They're really doing the blockchain analysis, and they're seeing who's who in the zoo, and it's really interesting stuff. So, but look, we just come out and broadcast once a week, every Tuesday, and we have the conversations. We've got some really good expertise in here, and I really get a lot out of talking to you blokes, and thanks for all of the support this year. From the Hexicans and the Discourse Syndicate Network for taking us on, and it's been a great year. And that's all I've got to say. Bluey, we'll wind it up, eh?
Yeah, sounds good.
I got to go and hand myself in.
You got to go make sure people are doing the right thing.
Yeah, all good.
I've got the handcuffs ready, already on. Ready? Look at that.
Beautiful. Thanks, everyone in the chat for a lovely year and a lovely We've still got one more show in before the end of the year, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Yeah, and but 28 everyone. I'll be in the Twitch thing tomorrow morning with DJ Cryptomatic, awesome. And it's great to have everyone in the chat. Loving these shows every week, and really appreciate all the love and all you guys as well. And thanks a lot.
Smash like, forward it on, subscribe, tell your friends and family.
All right, so there's quite a few people asking about the Oracle in chat. We've already done that. Day 43 pulled the rules and he had to leave early, so he made everyone change to his whim and do it at the beginning of the show, so you can thank him next time. But yeah, like all these other guys have said, it's been an absolutely fantastic year. I do wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, and I feel that we're on the cusp of a really, really big next year. We've done a lot of the hard yards over the last 2 years. I'm starting to get the feeling like there's a tipping point. We're seeing a lot more attention put on HEX. Pulse has obviously helped that a lot. But I just get this feeling where maybe we're hitting that 2-year hockey stick moment where there's enough networking effect and enough noise around this to make it a pretty special next year. So I hope for everyone that we see that, and it's going to change a lot of lives if we do.
For the better.
Definitely,
because I mean it is financial freedom. I think that's everyone's. I mean that's everyone's dream, isn't it? I mean, it is a game changer. And if you and Richard Hart is giving you the blueprint to the best life hack of the century, and there's plenty of opportunity out there in crypto, as we've talked about. I know there's a lot to sort of get around and learn about, and I certainly don't profess to being an expert and knowing everything, and I don't. But I know what I need to know, and I'm still learning. So it's all part of the journey and the trip, and we're all in it together. And stake that HEX, and that's it. So all right then, tangent. I forgot about you, mate. You're the one they all come to see.
I think you did the perfect sign off, man. I can't add to that. I thought that was beautiful. So I'm Hex Tangent on YouTube if anyone's keen, and party on.
Have a great Christmas, everyone. Stay safe, and warm wishes to your families. And we'll see you next Tuesday.